Hello friends, I'm glad to see you again at another edition of Footprints. I'd like to share with us today what I call the call to brokenness. The subject of brokenness is not popular in church and on our pulpit today because of our backsliding Christian culture that projects and pampers self. In the physical realm, when something is broken, the value depreciates or disappears altogether. That's why broken plates, broken phone, broken car, broken devices are usually scrapped. But in the spirit, God placed a high premium on broken vessels to use them for His glory. What exactly is brokenness? Jesus in John 12 and verse 24 says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you," that's an emphasis, "except a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit." The book of Psalm 51 and verse 17, David said, "The sacrifice that God desires is a broken spirit. A broken spirit and a contrite heart you will not despise." So, to be broken means to be totally subdued to God's processing and dealings, such that He could conform us to His will, His ways, His purpose, and His image. How far God will use a man is not just dependent on his anointing. How far God will use a man is not just dependent on his gift, it's dependent on brokenness. We don't lack preachers on our pulpit today. The tragedy of our Christian life today is that we have men who are converted but not broken. We have men who are gifted but not broken. We have men who are called but not broken. We have men who are rich but not broken. And that's why we are not making impact in our generation. That's why we are not making impact among the nations. The biggest hindrance to our spiritual outflow is our self-life. And that's what must be released to the cross. That's what must be brought on the altar to be crushed. I hear a lot of prayer in church today about our enemy falling down and die. Whereas the biggest enemy for our spiritual life that we need to submit to death is our self-life. The first thing that we need to release to the cross, that the cross can slay, is our self-life. And until we do that, there is no guarantee that we can last in the hand of God for His use. I see you last in the anointing. I see you last in the service of God to the nations. But that is not depending on packaging. It's not depending on so much paparazzi that we have in ministry today, but on brokenness. And you will have to, by faith, submit your self-life to the cross to be crushed. You will have to submit your self-life to the altar to be broken, so that the life of Jesus can flow through you to the nations. Can I ask you this question? I know you are gifted, I know you are anointed, but are you broken? You still flare up at every slight provocation. You still strive for prominence among brethren. You are still struggling with anger and bitterness. That's all of those things are indices of self-life. I see a lot of packaging in church today. That's fine. But the point is that until men are crucified, until men are broken, all of those packaging cannot produce any eternal results. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 14, Paul said, "May I not boast about anything except in the cross of Jesus, through whom I am crucified to the cross, and the cross is crucified to me." Except our self-life is crushed and crucified, then the life of Jesus cannot flow through us. I see God give you the instruction today that you need to submit your self-life to death. Do you know that the crashing of Samson is not just the problem of Delilah, it's the problem of his self-life. And a man who pampers his self-life, instead of submitting his self-life to death, will probably one day crash at the altar of Satan. Spiritual brokenness is the key to apostolic revival. Spiritual brokenness is the key to abiding presence of God. I challenge you today, as we go to work with this instruction, that you should submit your self-life to God's dealing and to his processing. You should submit to the cross. You should lay your self-life on the altar to be crushed and to be broken, so that the life of God can flow through you to your generation and to the nations. Dear brothers and sisters, dear pastor, dear missionary, will you submit your self-life to be broken today, so that God can find you fit to use for the coming revival? Thank you, and God bless you.